These videos are doing terribly, but I'm gonna record it anyways. Hello everybody, I'm Roadblock, and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. So, yeah, I mean, these videos aren't killing it in views or any of the metrics, but I like making content like this. I like making kind of evergreen content, stuff that new players that are coming into the game have a point of reference to maybe get an understanding of. I gotta tell you, for the longest time, I was doing masteries just based on the Hell Hades site, or looking up a build from, you know, in a YouTube video, like, oh, how should I build Armiger? Oh, I should get these ones. Okay. And then not really learning any of it. So hopefully new players, hopefully you guys find these prove to be valuable or important to you. But we are on our last leg. We are talking about the last area of support. We're going to start with Lasting Gifts. I'll move myself over a little bit. So Lasting Gifts has a 30% chance to extend the duration of any buff cast by this champion by 1 turn. It doesn't work on block damage, unkillable, revive on death, or taunt. This is actually really handy for anybody that's giving a buff. And what's really interesting, there's a really unique interaction with Admiral Blacktusk where I go with Lasting Gifts on him, and there's actually a chance, because he gives Stone Skin to everybody on the team. Right here, he places Stone Skin on all allies for 1 turn, but Lasting Gifts can actually give you a 2-turn Stone Skin off that. So Lasting Gifts has a lot of value just in general, and I highly recommend it for anybody that's giving a buff that you want to keep, whether it's a shield, maybe increase attack, you know, kind of speed. Increase speed is a big one, strengthen, right? You want to extend those buffs. It's only a 30% chance, but that's actually, I'd say, probably happens more often than not. Listen up, I just got a new promo link that you can use to follow along with me on my latest free-to-play adventure and get a free Elenaril, as well as 3 more powerful epics as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Plarium Play and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get Elenaril right after signing up, as well as Fayne, Uugo, and Tagoar as you progress through Raid. Click on my link right now and let's crush this together. It happens more often than you think it will. I'll say it that way, actually, because it makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, I love Lasting Gifts. If I have a support that's given a buff, I tend to go Lasting Gifts almost all of the time. Spirit Haste increases speed by 8 for each dead ally, stacks up to 24. The only situation, personally, that I see value in Spirit Haste is, well, there's 2 situations, I guess. Right? One is if you're doing a solo build. And what do I mean? Like, there's a world out there where somebody, you could think of like Godseeker and Newt for Sand Devil. If you're struggling to hit whatever speed requirement you're trying to hit for that duo, maybe you bring some food and let them die, and then your Godseeker, if she has Spirit Haste, will be faster. But that's one scenario. The other scenario where I could see value is with a Reviver. So let's say your team dies, they gain increased speed, which allows them to get to their team revive sooner, and then you're back into the flow. I'm not a big fan, like I'm not like excited about Spirit Haste or anything, but that's really one of the options that I can think of. Sniper increases the chances of placing any debuff from skills or artifacts by 5%, but it doesn't work on hard CC. So if you guys remember a couple of days ago, we had Fearsome Presence where it did work on hard CC. This one does not work on hard CC's crowd control, by the way, guys. This one does not work on those debuffs, but it does increase the chance of placing something from skills or artifacts. So if you have something on an A1 that isn't 100%, I say A1, it could be on anything. If you have something that doesn't go quite to 100%, then it's worth doing. One of the most notable examples of Sniper where I use it almost always is on Uugo. And the reason that we use it on Uugo is because the chance, so it's 75% chance booked up to 100% on the decreased defense, but only a 50% chance of placing block buffs. Now that books up to 75, and then the chance of placing the block buffs increases by 5% each alive enemy. So that's another 20%. So that's only 95%. So the other 5% comes from sniper, and you have a 100% chance now. And so, yeah, I always go sniper on Uugo for that very reason. That is the main reason why I go sniper always on Uugo. Outside of that, there are going to be scenarios where you may want to increase the chance of somebody if they have a lower percentage chance of landing something. Traditionally, I think of an A1 kind of when I think about that. So, like, for example, there's a 50% chance of placing decreased defense on Androck, so there's a potential for sniper. I don't run it, but there is that potential, right? Because that would then be a 55% chance. A small value, small percentage, but there are situations where it might be considered. And we have Master Hexer. Master Hexer has a 30% chance to extend the duration of any debuff cast by this champion by 1 turn, but it will not extend the hard crowd control debuffs. This is what you're going to want on your debuffers, right? Anybody that brings a debuff, you pretty much are going to want to have Master Hexer on them. There's no reason not to have it. Typically, you're almost always going to have at least 1 from this tree, if not 2. And so, yeah, there's definitely value in that Master Hexer just for the chance that it might extend that decreased defense, that weaken, or whatever other, or decreased speed, right? That's a big one. So if you think about it, a lot of champions have a 2-turn decreased speed on a 3-turn cooldown. To be able to increase that to a 3-turn decreased speed, they will always be under decreased speed. Your champion will always, not always, but if it procs, right, and they get that 3-turn decreased speed, then you have another chance to apply decreased speed, and they were under decreased speed the entirety of the time, essentially. So it is a very valuable feature. So I love Master Hexer. I want it on pretty much everybody that I run. So for debuffers, that is. It doesn't make any sense on somebody that doesn't bring debuffs, I'll put it that way. Okay, now we are down to Elixir of Life, max HP by 3,000. This is probably the least one here. I could see maybe an argument for a champion whose heals are based on this champion's max HP, but there are some more valuable ones here, so not a super big fan of the 3000 HP. Timely Intervention increases his champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally hero drops below 25%. This is kind of what I was saying with Spirit Haste a little bit. If you have a support, a healer, a reviver, something along those lines, if you want to get that extra turn meter so they get back to their turn quicker and can heal or revive or cleanse or whatever they need to do to keep your team going, this can prove to be a pretty good one. Oppressor increases the turn meter fill rate by 2.5%. Each active debuff cast by this champion stacks up to 10%. Yeah, I mean, pretty obvious, right? If you're placing debuffs, you can increase your turn meter fill rate. It's really weird the way they say that, by the way, because isn't that just what increased speed does? I don't know. Either way, don't really see that pick very often. I don't think I have this on any champion, to be completely honest with you. I certainly see the value in it. I just don't run it because Eagle Eye is probably the best one to go here, in my opinion, for a debuffer. Okay, just to be clear, for a debuffer. I'm going to want that 50 accuracy. 50 accuracy is actually a pretty large amount. It sounds kind of small, perhaps, on paper, but the reality is 50 accuracy is a pretty big amount, and quite often you might need to get to that 50 accuracy point in order to get your debuffs to land, right? What do I mean by that? Well, actually, I can give you a perfect example. I've already used this example a couple of times. My Lydia, because my Lydia is not in perception or any gear that increases her accuracy, because I have her in protection, because I want to protect the buffs that she gives for Chimera. I don't want my increased speed or strength stolen by some of the champions that do that. So I need to go Eagle Eye on her so I can hit the required accuracy that I need for that fight. It's as simple as that, right? So yeah, Eagle Eye tends to be. Now, when you're thinking about PvP, right, you have no clue what resistance your enemy is going to have. So when you're in that situation that you're needing to hit unknown levels of accuracy, you're going to want every single bit of accuracy you can possibly get, because they might have more resistance than you were expecting. And so there's really no limit to what I want on the accuracy for my champions. Now, for mythicals, I tend to be a little more loose with my accuracy, so we've got only 386 on Lady Mikage, for example, but she ignores resistance, which is a big part of what mythicals do. In fact, that's been a struggle for me on my Commodus, my Commodus is in 4-piece stone skin and 5-piece pinpoint, and only 438 accuracy. But I also want him to be very fast. So he's only 283 speed, but that's fast enough so far for what I've been doing. But I did have to go Eagle Eye on him to be able to land those bombs that I need him to place. Because if he can't place the bombs, we lose, right? So that's really what you need Commodus for. So you want to have that accuracy on him, and I want to get every little shred of accuracy, even though he can and does ignore resistance. There is still that chance, and so therefore I want to have that extra accuracy. So, all right, well, we kind of covered everything in the support tree at this point. Thank you guys for bearing with me through this somewhat fillery content. I just wanted to complete it. I wanted to get through it. You know, there are players out there who need this. It may not be most of you. In fact, those of you that don't need it probably aren't watching, but we're back to normal starting tomorrow. We're going to bring in some pretty good content for you guys, I hope. So I look forward to seeing you then. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.